Over the last several months, we've seen Microsoft's Surface Duo's price drop further and further from that initially rather steep $1,400 price point down all the way as low as into the $400 range, which is absolutely bonkers. Right now on Amazon, Surface Duo, and this is locked on AT&T, even though some people have apparently had some success getting this bad boy unlocked, still $549 on Amazon right now. No haggling, nothing crazy. This is just what the price is. Now, if you want the thing still locked on, or unlocked rather, on any carrier, it does jump up a little bit, but you can see some of these prices here where this thing can be grabbed. $450, right? It's gone down a lot. And because of that, loads of new people are jumping on the Surface Duo bandwagon. People who, look, at $1,400, I understand. That's a lot. At $1,000, maybe that's a little steep as well. There's my launcher. It just decided to load. But at, $450, $500, maybe this is an impulse buy at this point for some of you lovely people to jump on the Surface Duo bandwagon and to see if, what people have said is true or not. Maybe you actually really like this thing. I still really love this design. Can't wait for the sequel, follow-up to Surface Duo. But in the process of so many new people buying the Surface Duo at this low of a price, there are some questions I'm getting over and over and over and over and over and over. And I'm not mad about it. Those questions are, what are some accessories that work well with Surface Duo? What kind of accessories should I be buying? So I'm going to do here today in a video that might wind up being rather long, is I'm just going to go through a list of accessories that you can buy for Surface Duo that I think are worth buying. But before we go any further, if you're new to the channel, please do take a moment to consider hitting that subscribe button. It does help out a ton, and I am oh so close to 5,000 subscribers, so please do help me get there. Some of you lovely subscribers interact with me on Twitter quite a bit, and what I did is I tweeted on Twitter, as one would do, what are your must-have accessories for Surface Duo? And I got a number of really good responses. And I'm going to kind of leave these on screen for just a moment to give some of these lovely people some credit for helping me kind of make this list, because I've got a lot of products to cover, and these guys and gals helped me remember all of the products that you're going to be seeing. Some of them I wouldn't have thought of without their tweets. So big shout out to you MVPs out there in the Twitterverse. Now, every product I mention in this video will have a link in the description down below. If it is an Amazon link, it is an affiliate link. You have been warned. If you want to help support me, use those affiliate links. So the first accessory that I think is a must-have for the Surface Duo, even though you'll notice that I'm not using it on my particular Surface Duo, is something that comes in the box. It's just the bumpers. The Duo is a weird device. Even though we're going to talk about some cases later on in this video, you really can't do much in terms of cases on a device that is, one, this thin, and two, that folds, right? There's just not much you can do. So the bumper works really well. The reason I don't have it on is because it's a large thing, and the bumpers are kind of grabby. So what would happen to me a lot is I'd pull it out of my pocket, and it would pull my pocket out with with the Duo, and that would drive me a little bit crazy, but that's just me. The bumpers are a good way to go. Now, if you're like some people I've seen online, eventually that bumper will start to peel off for some of you. Not everybody, but for some of you. And the reason is because it is just held on with adhesive. Just a 3M double-sided tape. But what if that starts to happen and you want to reattach your Surface Duo's bumper back onto the Duo? Well, that's where this 3M double-sided tape comes in handy. I've got a roll of this on hand, and I've used it to attach and reattach the Surface Duo's bumper on multiple occasions. I actually used it to reattach a case on my Z Fold 2 that also used adhesive, and it worked just fine for that as well. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about an ongoing problem with the Surface Duo where the charging port will eventually crack. You can probably see that mine has. In fact, I'm just missing a big chunk of plastic there. It's a really common problem with the Surface Duo. It is unfortunate, but it is somewhat avoidable if you do use some USB-C magnetic adapters. The reason I don't have one in mine is because I use a product I'm going to show you a little bit later on that is actually over my shoulder, which you could have seen when I was in my wider shot. But if you don't use what I'm going to talk about later, which is pretty cool, this is a good option. What this is going to do is it allows that connector to just magnetically attach. And by doing that, you're not putting as much strain on that charging port. And by virtue of that, you might not crack around your charging port on your Surface Duo. So the Surface Duo, when it's closed, you can't see any of the screens. So for some people, that can be annoying. You get a text message, notification, whatever, you have to pull it out of your pocket, you have to open it, check your notification, and then close it, or perhaps use what they call a peek view, where you open it up a little bit and you get a little glance there. It's not really something I ever use. What I do, though, to make this not a problem at all, is I wear a smartwatch. And there are a million smartwatches that you could possibly buy, and they're all going to work really well. But I get asked all the time, what smartwatch do you use, Shane? And I use the Fitbit Versa 3. And this is not a review for the Versa 3, but I really like it. I don't have to charge the thing maybe once every 4 or 5 days. I wear it 24/7. I sleep with it to track my sleep and everything. I get all my notifications right here on my wrist. I can trigger Google Assistant and do all sorts of lovely things like that from my wrist without ever having to open the Surface Duo or take my phone out of my pocket. Smartwatch is a must for Surface Duo, not just for that, but also because Duo does not have NFC, and this has Fitbit Pay. So get a watch that has Google Pay or Fitbit Pay, and that'll solve many of your problems with Surface Duo. Another thing about Surface Duo that I don't love is the fact that the speaker is quite quiet and just doesn't generally sound very good. So what I do is I always have a set of wireless earbuds or headphones nearby. So of course I'd be remiss if I failed to mention the Surface earbuds. I don't have any firsthand experience with the Surface earbuds, but Surface Duo, Surface earbuds makes sense. They look good. They're a little on the pricey side. The earbuds I carry are my Anker Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pros, and they are fantastic. They have noise canceling, and as you can see, they're only $99.99. They work really, really well. They charge wirelessly, which is a good plus to have, even though the Duo doesn't charge wirelessly, but whatever. They're really good. If I want to step it up a notch in audio quality, though, I will go ahead and grab my Surface headphones. And these bad boys can be had now for really cheap. In fact, on Amazon, $114 renewed. I've seen them really, really cheap. Surface headphones 2 are still a little bit more pricey, but not a huge difference between them. So Surface headphones are a really, really good option for the Surface Duo. In fact, I made a whole video about how I thought they were a perfect pairing with the Surface Duo. So that helps take care of that poor audio quality thing. So I talked a second ago about how I didn't use a magnetic connector because I used something else with Surface Duo. And it's a thing called a Duo dock. And if you're unfamiliar, there will be a link to this in the description like I mentioned earlier. But this is a Duo dock. And this is a 3D printed dock for the Surface Duo. You'll see a charging port in the middle here, right? And you will see another port on the side. So what you do is you plug in your charger here, drop your Duo in there. There's a little spot here to hold a Surface pin, and it will actually hold the Surface Slim pin or the regular Surface pin. You might be able to see here how it's squared. It's rounded and it's squared, so either one can fit in. There's also a little piece in here that can actually slide out, and what that does is it makes room for if you have your bumper on or not, so it's compatible either way you go. There's a lot of nice touches here, and this is literally just made by one of you guys, someone who was just a big fan of Surface Duo, and they saw a need for this in their own life, so they 3D printed it, and it works really, really well. And I'll show you here kind of what this looks like. Let me turn the screen back off. When you drop your Duo in, here's a cool touch. There's a little line right there in the middle, and you use that to line up your Duo. Just a smart little touch there. And that's what it looks like. And it works really well. In particular, it works really well with the next item on my list, which is this Anker USB-C hub. So what you do here is you plug your charger in here, you plug this into the side of your Duo dock, and now you have a whole array of ports. Perhaps you plug your Duo into a monitor. So when you drop your Duo into your Duo dock, you connect wired to an external monitor to mirror your screen. Maybe you use one of these USB-C ports to attach a USB keyboard and mouse, and you can control your Duo that way. Maybe you add mass storage to your Duo through some of these ports here. It works tremendously well. And so, as I said before, you know, this USB-C dock, 30 bucks on Amazon, not too bad. And Duo Dock on their website, and they're actually working on some new designs if I remember what I heard correctly. So there may be some good stuff coming. $35. And one of them is USB-C, which is the one I have. One of them is magnetic. So it will actually come with a USB-C magnetic connector like I mentioned, just like that. And that will, so when you drop your Duo Dock in, it will attach magnetically instead of plugging in. Really, really cool stuff on sale right now for $35. So I talked about using your Surface Duo in a dock with a bigger monitor, bigger screen, and all these things using a mouse and keyboard. Well, what about a mouse and keyboard? Well, you can't go wrong with Microsoft's Arc Mouse. This thing works well, it flattens out, it's easy to take with you, and it's on sale for $44.37. This is beginning to sound like an infomercial, but it works well. It's a good accessory for the Surface Duo. I tend to not use a mouse with my Duo when it's in a dock like this or using the Your Phone app to mirror or whatever, but I do like to have a keyboard, okay? And the keyboard I use is this cool little tri-folding keyboard. And this thing can be had on Amazon for $47, and there are some cheaper ones around if you search around a little bit. That is a really cool option because the battery lasts absolutely forever. It's super, super small. It's about the same size as the Surface Duo. Makes it super easy to pocket. And there are some other options. Here's another tri-folding keyboard that has a trackpad. Another option there for $33. And then Microsoft has their own folding keyboard that only folds once, but it's another option direct from Microsoft for $49.99. I think having a keyboard with Duo is a really, really good thing to have, in particular when you're using a dock or a stand. And if you're using that dock or stand and you've got a spot there for the Surface Pen, why not buy a Surface Pen? Super simple, easy. $105 for the Surface Slim Pen, which will kind of magnetically stick to your Surface Duo, kind of a little bit, not really. There also is the standard Surface Pen, which is what I have because I have two Surface Pro 7s and I use them with those as well. And it works just fine, $80 for that. I also reviewed a cheaper alternative that works with all of the above for only $22.99. You are missing like the eraser on the back and the button, which doesn't do anything on the Surface Duo yet. So maybe save some money and get something like this instead. It worked, you know, what, 70% as well as the Surface Pen? Not quite, maybe less than that. The Surface Pen is really good. But for $23, if you want to be able to take notes on your Duo and you don't want to have to worry about not losing an expensive pen, there are some cheaper alternatives out there. So let's talk about cases a little bit here. There's a couple besides the bumpers that come with the Duo, and one of them is by OtterBox, the Osity series. This thing is an option for some people. It's less a case and more like a hard pouch. $50 on something like that. I'm not sure it's something I would use, but it is an option. They also have the Thorium case, or the Theorem, I guess is how that would be pronounced. And as you can see here, it kind of folds out. It's got a place for your pen. Looks fairly premium. It even lets you use book mode. It's a little bit cumbersome, not something I would use as well, but it is there. Now, there are a couple of other options in terms of cases and pouches. I actually have a couple here that were sent to me by the company Norev, who is a French leather-based company. They make some really premium products. One of them is a simple leather pouch. Mine happens to have a wallet pouch area as well for your debit card and so forth. And your Duo fits right in there. This one is a little bit loose because it expects me to be using my bumpers, which I'm not, but they have them made both ways. So it'd be nice and snug. These things are made to order, so they're not mass produced. You order one and then they make it for you. They also made this actual case here, which is made of super high quality leather as well. It feels absolutely tremendous. And if not for the fact that it exacerbates my black screen bug, I would be using this thing because it feels really good once it's on there. You kind of get an idea here of the look of it. Once it's closed, it just feels and looks absolutely incredible. But for whatever reason, just like the bumpers did for me, it does seem to not interact well with the black screen bug. You saw me, how many times did it take me opening and closing it before that happened? And that's just it, you know, there you go. So maybe you'll have better luck with that. I don't know, hard to say. You may also notice though that my Surface Duo, let's get this leather thing off here. My Surface Duo is blue. And the reason for that is because I have a skin on mine from, I don't know how to pronounce it, Soapy Guard, I don't know, but this is their website. And for about 16 bucks, they have all sorts of different skins, textures. I mean, there's a million and one different things you could do with your Surface Duo using their website. And while, you know, these little skins aren't going to add like a ton of protection necessarily, if you're like me and you've managed to crack your back glass, you can't really tell that it's cracked unless you look really, really closely. So while it won't protect you from cracking your Surface Duo, it will let you hide the fact that you already have. And last but not least, and I'm sure there's something that I've missed out here, and if I missed something, comment it and maybe I'll pin it or something like that to elevate it so everybody else can see it. Gaming is a thing on the Surface Duo, right? You've got Game Pass and you've got, you know, emulators and things like that. So if you want to use Game Pass, go get yourself an Xbox controller, and you're going to have to use it in tent mode or something like that, or maybe use it with your Duo dock, put it on a screen, and you've got a cool little gaming setup. That's fine as well. But if you want to use some streaming like Moonlight, or you want to use emulators or some native Android games, there's a controller here that I really quite like. And this one's called the Flydigi Wii 2. And you can see there how it looks on a normal phone. Now this thing is about $57. There are some cheaper ones as well. You just want to get one that says it will fit a tablet. Make sure the measurements are correct, because Duo is quite strange in terms of size. But I'll show you here. Let me open up my Duo. And what you do is it's telescopic, so it can extend out to fit around your Duo. And this is kind of what you wind up with. And if you want to use this thing to emulate DS games, or 3DS games, or perhaps you want to play a game here and watch a YouTube video here, you can make an argument that this thing is absolutely phenomenal. It's Bluetooth. It works really, really well. So grab yourself a Bluetooth controller that will fit the dimensions of the Duo and go have yourself some fun gaming on this insane looking contraption. All right, guys, that is about all I've got for you today. If I've missed anything good out of this list, please do let me know in the comments down below. And like I said, I'll try to elevate that best I can. This is going to be a kind of a little bit of a longer video because of all the things we've just talked about. But yeah, I hope that's helpful for some of you ladies and gentlemen who might have just purchased yourself a rather cheap Surface Duo. Thanks for making it to the end of this video, because it helps me out a ton. If you did happen to purchase something from this list, thank you even more, because that helps me out as well. You can donate directly at scaryflowdrill.com or become a patron over on Flattr. I don't use Patreon. I like Flattr better because there's kind of anonymity and no strings attached over there on Flattr. So thanks to all you guys who have supported me any way that you can. Stay tuned for more content just like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.